You're listening to The Fellas with Anthony McCoy,
Listen, man, that wasn't my fault. It was an unknown error.
Rich Thurston,
Someone said it was like the Bulls never changed their passwords, and Tibbs just popped in and did an auto trade.
Kev Lund,
You could tell he was a Mets fan because he was just like, yep, real quiet. Didn't want to say much about the Yanks. 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one.
and Kyle Straub.
When one of those point guards is James Harden, yes, the answer is yes, they are a better team.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a great weekend. As always, we appreciate you listening to us. We got a jam-packed show for you today. Game of Thrones ended and some shit went down. So did The Wall. We'll get into that one at the end of this show. We got some NBA. Kyrie possibly being traded to the Celtics. Could Draymond play in the 80s and 90s against those power forwards? A lot of Hall of Famers those days. But we're going to start off the top of the show with what we promised you, our AFC picks for the regular season and playoffs. And for it, Kev, we're going to throw it out to you, out to the West Coast. Go ahead and give us each division winner and then who you're going to take out of the AFC to get to the Super Bowl.
You got it, my man. So I'll start out here. I'll go West Coast to East Coast. West and the AFC West. I'm gonna go with the Raiders, man. They're gonna close it down this year. Derek Carr is gonna be healthy. First year they're gonna win it since 2002. Actually, it'll be the first division winner other than KC or Denver since '09. So that'll also be pretty cool. A big game to look out for them is Week 7 at home against KC. So we're going Raiders out west. Let's bring it down to the South. AFC South, I'm going Tennessee Titans. They haven't won it since '08 with Kerry Collins slinging the rock. So I'm going to pick those guys. And actually, here's a little their big game. I'm going to go Week 12 at Indy. Haven't won there in 11 years. So if
Wow, that's surprising.
if they get that game, that's when they'll definitely lock down the division.
Wait a minute, it's been 11 years, so they didn't even win there the year that Peyton Manning was out and the Colts were absolutely terrible?
Nope. They have
Titans
not
haven't been
won.
good in a long time.
Yeah, when's the last time the Titans were nice?
No, I know that, but you remember
Yeah.
the year that Peyton went down, the Colts won like 2 games that entire year. Figured that's the year you kind of strike.
Took those 2 wins, man. Couldn't take those L's.
Nope. They dropped the
Hold
ball,
that,
man.
Titans.
And then McCoy's brother with the Steelers. They're gonna repeat division champs. And then I think they got the biggest and best triplets pair in the trio in the league. So they're gonna take it 5-0 start. Watch out for it. And then, do we really even have to talk about the East? The
Oh
Pats.
man, there's some real quality teams in the East.
Nah, man, the Patriots. Their big test will be Week 10 at Denver, and they'll be taking home division championship 14 out of the last 15 years. So
The East might be the worst conference in the NFL outside of the best team in the league and being in it. The other
might be,
teams
dude.
are-
I think it is
That's
the
straight
worst,
garbage.
dude. I think it's the worst.
All right, so there's your 4 division winners: the Pats, Steelers, Titans, Raiders. We're not going to pick wild card, but of those 4, I doubt you're going to take a wild card team coming out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. But
Nah.
if you want to go for it, who you got?
You got to roll with Tom and the Pats again, man. I mean, even with the Edelman injury, the Madden curse is starting to spread its wings a little bit there. We'll see if it comes full force. But as of right now, how can you pick against those guys?
It's a good point. Good point. Rich, McCoy, one of you guys want to go next year?
You can go, Anthony.
All right. So I'm going to start off with the Patriots because that's what they do is win that division. And they have Tom Brady back there. So whatever curse wants to affect whoever else, with Edelman being out, that's not a big deal. He'll just replace him with the next white slot receiver, who I believe is the former Buffalo Bill, Chris Hogan. So,
Fantasy, watch out.
yep, that's a starter sleeper right there. Real sleeper.
Don't sleep on them.
So actually, my picks are actually really similar to Cavs. I had the Steelers winning in the AFC North. I prefer that they don't because my brother does like them. But who else is going to beat them? Not the Browns. Who else in that division? The Ravens and who?
Cincinnati and Andy Dalton.
Cincinnati.
You know
The
he ain't.
Bungles.
Keep
Cincinnati's only
sleeping on my
good.
brownies.
Cincinnati's only good for a wild card and a first round exit, so they can go somewhere. And if the Ravens can really go somewhere with Joe Flacco too, so I'm gonna go the Steelers also.
All right, before you go any further, hold on a second. Can we talk about the Bengals and why Marvin Lewis is still the head coach there?
Because their
Like,
owner, I don't think their owner
I
cares.
understand that the Bengals were absolutely god awful for about 15 years, but for the last 10, they've just been cool with being middle of the road, losing the first round, and that's it.
He's
Marvin
probably
Lewis
turning
got
a profit though.
Marvin Lewis got screenshots or
Yeah, he's
something
got
on him.
The owner's probably turning a profit every year with that first round playoff exit, and he probably doesn't care really.
That's just crazy
know?
to me. Like, I'd be
How
so
many-
upset if I were a fan.
How many years have they made the playoffs in a row?
In a row, I don't think it's
They
been
didn't
in a
make
row.
it last year.
Oh, they didn't make it last year?
Nah,
Yeah,
'cause
like
the-
in
the-
his tenure,
the
they
water
like make it
pistol
1 or
got
2
hurt.
years and then they miss it for a year or two. They've never had like a sustained streak of being in the playoffs.
They didn't play the Steelers last year. Was that the year before?
That was the year before, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, last year I
Yeah.
think they went 8-8 last year.
Your boy Burfsit got a 5-game
5 games
suspension
for-
already.
Really, that was weak though. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
that's because of who. That's because of his. It's
Yeah,
him.
he got all his reputation. But then Pac-Man only gets 1 game for getting in trouble out off the field, which is weird.
And they draft Joe Mixon. Like
Yeah.
it's been going down since Chris Henry, bro.
They got man, they're the worst. I gotta understand how they don't
Yeah.
fire. Think rid of their whole team. Honestly, at this point, they just keep condoning this behavior. Like,
I don't know. That's why I had to interject there. So go ahead and keep on going. So far we got the Pats and Steelers for you.
all right, so the
Now
third
it
one
gets
I had was
interesting.
in the West. I did have the Raiders. Also, I think they're gonna build off last season. You know, they got the nice addition of Marshawn. And if, as long as Carr comes back healthy, they'll be fine. But he should be fine, right? What, he break his ankle?
No, he broke his leg. His
His leg,
tibia.
okay.
Yeah, he threw 200 touchdowns, 200 yards and
200
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
No,
Jesus.
200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the preseason game the other night. He looked just like he
Nah,
did.
he's
And
straight then.
he's ready.
Maybe they might even do better on offensive. Crabtree, Rich's boy Crabtree doesn't lead the lead in drops again.
As long as he don't get his chain snatched.
Oh, he's getting his shade snatched
Needs
twice
to watch
a
his
season,
mouth.
man. So the one difference I had with you was in the South. I'm just going with the perennial dominance of the Houston Texans back there with their 8-8 finish to
Their
win the
mediocre
division.
dominance.
Their defense is too good, man. Plus, they're going to get J.J. Watt back this year. None of those teams in their division's offense are good enough to mess with them. So I just think they'll dominate, finish 8-8, 9-7, and they'll win the division. Really, in the end, the losers of that division are the fans because it's terrible football.
Who do you have winning the AFC?
I'm going to go with the Patriots until somebody beats them. They got the GOAT out there, so until somebody knocks them off, who's going to knock them off? The Steelers always choke when it's time. They're bound to lose to the Patriots in the title game.
If
So,
they make it that far, yeah.
the only team I can see maybe having a shot might be the Raiders because they have a good offense, but I don't think they're ready for that.
That should
Just
have been the
like
game
Falcons
last
weren't
year.
ready. Yep, it should have. They're not ready for them big games. They ain't played in them, so they're slinging versus Brady versus Carr. You're taking Brady every time until he proves
Got to
he can
learn
beat
to
him.
win in the NFL.
Yep.
All right, Rich, go ahead and give us your picks, bud, or the fan picks that they gave you.
Yeah, because I didn't care enough to research this. So
At least he's upfront about it.
So what I did is I took the people's vote. I'm the man of the people on this. And I put out poll questions, and these were the answers that I'm riding with till death do us part. AFC West, 57% of the people went with Oakland. So I'm riding with Derek Carr and the Oakland Raiders, Marshawn. I have nothing to hate on Oakland. If Oakland's fly, that's fly because their jerseys are the best jerseys of football. So I can ride with that.
A nice 24 Charles Woodson looks nice.
Exactly.
it'll
That's
be
right.
interesting to see what Nike does with the alternates for the Raiders, because they've got their white, they've got their black, they've got their silver. But what would that fourth color be for them?
No need.
Great.
It'll probably be
No.
some kind of like all
Hybrid.
black. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, maybe like black head to
pants.
toe. Yeah, that'd be
dope,
pretty.
though.
That'd
They
be
should,
pretty
even,
dope.
they should even make the helmet black and just let the
Yeah.
Raider be silver on the side.
And whoever
Yeah,
has the black tinted visor is the man out there.
No, he's
Wait
gonna
till
have
he-
like a silver one, son.
Wait till it gets to
Not-
Vegas,
Yeah.
man.
not that this, because I know you guys are going to hate on this comparison, but not that this is on the same level, but the Tar Heel football team actually did that a few years ago. The whole uniform, the whole stadium, they called it a blackout. The environment is real cool. You do that at the NFL level with an iconic team that's like the Raiders with the black hole. That would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
I'm
Wait.
all for it.
Wait till it gets to Vegas, and then it's gonna be real crazy, dude. They probably add some gold to that shit.
I was just going to say you got to bring out some gold uniforms then.
All right, so the South was interesting because the first time I put the poll up, it tied between the Texans and Titans at 40%. So then I had to do another poll with those two teams going head to head, and the Titans won that with 71%, which is fine. Marcus Mariota coming into his own, leading his team out there. I'm cool with that. Then the North is Pittsburgh. It's kind of boring. Pittsburgh, like whatever, they're always good. And the East is actually funny because when I put it out there, someone replied back, "This is a stupid question. Vote the," he said, what did he say? Vote the Jets or vote the Dolphins? No, he said vote the Dolphins. So the AFC East is probably the easiest division in all of football to pick. The Patriots, 59% of your votes.
59.
59 is way too low.
Jay
Hey.
Cutler's, Jay Cutler's giving
Like,
Brady
what
the
is
business.
wrong
That's
with
why.
people?
Let me say, I have the screenshots of the results. I don't know who else got votes.
Like, did
Nobody.
people not see what Tom Brady just did in the Super Bowl last year? Oh, well, you know what?
Realistically-
One of these other teams are going to beat them in the division.
None, that should've been
McCoy was on there
100%
voting for the Bills.
human.
That's why.
Yeah. Well, then y'all two got
Bills
two Jets
Nation.
votes.
Bills Nation following us because of McCoy, and they're loading up that voting poll for the
Yeah,
Buffalo
and
Bills.
Tyrod got a concussion the other day.
It makes
course
all
it
the
did.
sense in the world that Jets fans voted enough to make them come in with 25%.
Gangrene showing
I
out.
promise you, I didn't vote on this poll. That was not me.
Jets Nation.
And then to finish it off for the Super Bowl, I put those four teams up, and everyone, 68% of the people picked Oakland to make the Super Bowl.
Oh, get him, Oakland. I'll be
So
pumped.
that's who I'm rolling with, the Raiders.
The
Well, I wanted to go
Raiders.
last because I'm going to start off with my pick, and that was the Raiders. I was hoping I was going to be the only one. Because,
You kind of are, because I didn't pick them.
No, but your name is next to these
The
picks.
people
You said it.
did.
You're a man of the,
The
people,
people.
That's right.
and the people picked him, so that's your pick too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're riding with it.
Rolling with him.
But I think the Raiders actually would have given the Patriots a run for their money last year because of that offense. The defense is suspect, but they went out and got a couple of young cornerbacks in the draft, and then Amari Cooper being a year older, I think they're really gonna give the Patriots a run for their money, especially when you can hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch once you get into that playoff game, especially if it's in Foxborough and it's cold. Go ahead and give Marshawn the ball. You don't have to really worry about the guy throwing it and turning it over like.
Just not
We
from
saw
the
in the
1
Super
yard
Bowl.
line.
Marshawn, who
Well,
hasn't touched
listen,
the
he's
rock
not
in
on
a year
Seattle
either.
anymore.
Fresh legs, Marshawn.
So I got the Raiders out west. The Titans, I'm with Kev. I think the Titans are going to go ahead and win that division. Marcus Mariota progressing another season. Look out for DeMarco Murray. He had a pretty good rebound year last season after having a disappointing one the year before with the Cowboys. So if Mariota can keep the turnovers down and stay healthy, DeMarco with a decent offensive line could have a good year.
Well, they
So,
got Henry, too.
Straub,
Yep.
just Mariota has not ever thrown a red zone interception, man. He's like our boy Chad, who had that streak forever and ever.
Yeah, Mariota can just throw the ball more than 10 yards.
Hey, that's still a streak, man. No
It
no
is.
red
and
zone
that's
interceptions.
a sign of smart decisions, not throwing in a double.
That's not a
coverage.
good sign for
And
Marcus
he-
Mariota's future.
And he added
What, do we lump
Eric
him with
Decker,
Chad
dude.
Bennington?
Yes.
He added Eric Decker, and that dude's got like the most red zone touchdown receptions in the last like 4 years. So
Yeah.
watch out, man. Titans are shutting down the Texans, McCoy. Boo.
Now when Clowney and your boy J.J. Watt are all over Mariota all game.
Listen, I don't know what J.J. Watt is going to be. Like, a back injury is not something to really, like, fool around with. And he got hurt and had to go back out. With the position he plays, 16 weeks is a long time to ask a guy that big, that physical, to stay healthy with that kind of an injury.
Dick
Well,
LeBeau
you know
is
he's
shutting
giving
down Phil
maximum
Savage or Deshaun Watson. Dick LeBeau shutting that down,
effort.
bro.
Yeah, effort is
That-
absolutely nothing you're going to question on him, but will his body be able to perform is the
The
question.
Texans
that I have.
haven't had a good quarterback ever.
No,
Their
literally.
their
never.
all-time
Oh,
great
your
is
boy,
Matt
your boy
Schaub,
Matt
son.
Schaub.
Yeah, like that's their best quarterback ever. So they've been winning the division with nothing from the quarterback position but trash. So it doesn't. As long as Watson doesn't throw 4 picks a game,
Which
he's
he
doing
might.
better. He's doing better than the people that threw 5 picks a game.
If.
Listen, Deshaun Watson's not that good right now. I made sure to watch all of his throws. He made a few nice ones in the second half of last week's game, but he's gonna need to sit for a minute and learn some things.
See, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't know that they're going to let him sit. I think he's going to have to learn on the fly,
Yeah.
and fans are just going to have to be okay with it.
You know those
It's
line of
Savage all the
scrimmage
way, man. They
screens?
said that he played so well in practice that he pushed Savage, and Savage is the starter.
That Watson pushed Savage to play better?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what they saw because I'm watching the same
Yeah.
thing Rich is.
Like, he threw one of those screens that are at the line of scrimmage where the quarterback gets the ball, turns, and threw it. And he threw it so badly behind the receiver had to jump and do a spin and come back to the line.
Did he
Like-
catch it?
Well,
Probably
yeah, but then
lit
he
up.
lost like 3 yards.
At
Like,
least he called it, though. Amazing that completion percent.
yeah.
Kev, when you said that you heard reports coming out of camp that he was pushing Tom Savage, the only thing that came to my mind was every Jets quarterback every single year at a training camp. Oh, he's improved so much. Wait until you see him on the field, and then they're all terrible, every single one of them.
Same with Hackenberg this year, right?
So he couldn't even call the plays though, so he wasn't even good.
Yeah,
He wasn't even good in
I know.
practice, and they let him start all the preseason games. Screwed it all up. Don't even get me
Right.
started. Let's draw finish.
So my last two picks, the Patriots in the East, no brainer. They're going to win it. And then I was gonna go with the Steelers out of the North, but everybody has picked
The
pretty
Browns?
much the
Did you
same.
pick the Browns?
Nope.
Damn.
The Browns are losing to the Jets, Rich.
What does that have to do with anything right now?
Everything.
That's your team. You're riding with them, and you want to bring them
That's
in.
your team.
My boys are beating
Riding
your
with
boys.
They're not, but okay.
So anyway, I wanted to pick a different team just to throw a monkey wrench and try and be different, and I'm going to go with the Ravens in the North this season.
Oh man.
So you picked the only other team that could win.
Yeah,
Okay. That's the littlest
I'd go
monkey wrench
Cincy
ever,
over
Kyle.
Baltimore.
but nobody else picked them at least, though.
Yeah, I guess.
I would have
You know,
taken
I'm
the
not gonna
Bengals
I'm
over
not
the
gonna go and
Ravens.
pick like the Bills or the Dolphins or the Jets to win the East or something. So
Listen, man, I would have picked the Browns if I didn't do this poll and I wasn't the man of the people.
Circling
then-
them wagons, man.
out of the AFC, I think the Raiders are going to get it done. I think they're going to beat
I don't
the
know what the
Patriots.
Browns do. Bake in the oven? I don't know.
You're with
So
the people too, Straub.
Yeah, so we're split. Kevin McCoy got the Pats coming out of the AFC, and myself and Rich / the people
That's
have
right.
got the Raiders. So we'll have to keep an eye on them and see what happens throughout the season. Next week we'll go ahead and get into the NFC, and then
Go
we'll
Bucks.
also pick our Super Bowl winner when we pick the team that's coming out of the NFC.
This could look very different by week 7.
I think the NFC is going to be a complete and utter mess. Like, the AFC seems pretty cut and dry. Like, you know what teams are going to be good and compete. The NFC has got a whole bunch of mediocre teams, so it'll be
Yeah,
interesting
but
to see what
the
everybody
until-
comes up
teams in
with.
the
Till
AFC.
Mariota breaks his leg again, and Ben Roethlisberger gets a concussion, and yeah, Derek Carr twists his ankle, and it's a mess, dude.
Yeah, Roethlisberger's a lock to miss 4 to 6 games. So does he get hurt early in the season or later in the season? You
Like,
know?
when you shave your head, you're the backup quarterback, man. Josh Dobbs.
I would prefer Charlie Batch, man.
All right, let's talk about this Kyrie, Cavs, Isaiah Thomas, Celtics trade here. It came out just after we got done with the show, very next day, this following week, that originally it was the Cavs sending Kyrie to the Celtics, IT, Crowder, whoever that foreign dude was, and
Zizic,
Nets
man.
first round pick.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so sorry I don't know who the dude that nobody has seen play is.
That foreign dude.
It's gonna be a
So
problem.
that's what the original trade was, and I know there has been some talk because the Cavs are worried about the hip. But let's just go with from where we are right now. Rich, we'll go with you first. You posed this in our group chat, so you go ahead and start this conversation off. Has this trade done anything for either team now or in the future?
If it goes through,
Yeah, if it goes through with
If.
what it is now.
If
it does, in my mind, it does two things for the Celtics. Well, three maybe. Thing number one is it gets Isaiah Thomas off the team, and they have a good, like, they don't have to come up with a bogus reason to not pay him $200 million so the fans don't flip out. So that's the biggest reason. Get him off the team as quick as you can, so next summer you don't have to come up with some lie or transparent, like, reason that everyone knows that you just don't want to pay him, but you're coming up with something to make the fans feel better about it.
Just giving them the lip service.
Exactly. So get him off the team as quick as you can. Number two, and I've been thinking about this more and more, it gets rid of that Brooklyn pick for a player that people are going to be okay with getting back for it. Because that Brooklyn pick every day is losing value as it sits there. Because the Nets, Sean Marks and them are doing a good job over there. That team isn't going to be terrible. Like, it might be a top 5 pick, but I don't think it would be top 3 where you historically need to be in the draft to get that, like, franchise-altering player.
It's not the
And
lock that it was.
not only are the Nets doing a good job, but everybody else in the East is doing a good job of being real bad right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
everybody's
like,
competing for that pick already.
exactly. And the third thing is you get a player in Kyrie who is really good, and you get him for 2 years. You're not just getting one of these one-and-done guys where you have to
Paul
pack
George.
everything into 1 year to make sure he falls in love with the city, the team, and wants to stay. Like, you got him for 2 years. Like, you can work at this. You can say, you can say, Kyrie, we didn't win it this year, but hey, LeBron's going to the West next year. Maybe we can bring in this guy. Maybe we can do this. Like, you can work with him a little bit. So I think it benefits the Celtics the most if this trade goes through.
I agree with that.
I got a question. How old is Kyrie right now?
25.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
mid-20s, like right 24, 25.
So he's like right on the edge of hitting his prime. So he hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Played in the Olympics and won finals.
And like
the game
we all
winning
agree,
shot.
we all agree he's like a real good player, but he's not a lead your team to a title player. Not right now, at least.
Yeah, not right now.
But
Yeah.
at 25, if you work with him and you give him that chance, he could turn into it. So I see what you're saying with that. Because my original thought was that the Cavs win this trade, and to me they win it because you get IT, you get rid of the Kyrie headache. Jamison Crowder is going to give you that defensive rebounding present that they needed so badly against Golden State. And then that pick for the Nets, you could turn around and package Kevin Love and try and trade for another superstar, and maybe that makes LeBron happy and you're able to keep him in Cleveland longer.
That's actually what I would do with that Nets pick if I was the Cavs and it goes through.
Yeah, because
I would
like
try to
using
flip
it,
that pick as soon as I can.
the only way I'm trying to use that pick is if I'm the Cavs, is if after this season and it's a disaster of the season, LeBron says, we're walking. Well, all right, hopefully that Nets pick turns into something really high and I can use that to try and restart my franchise then. But otherwise, I try and flip it and get another superstar.
Yeah, I mean the Cavs already are in. If LeBron was to walk, they're in way better shape after this than when LeBron walked the first time to Miami. They set themselves up. I mean, and Dan Gilbert will be a fool enough to pay IT some $200 million just to keep his team relevant, so the whole city doesn't go in the shitter like last time.
Yeah, it's a wrap for Cleveland. If LeBron leaves, then they get rid of Kyrie.
I got a question. Does anybody think that Dan Gilbert may have something to do with the Cavs backing off on the trade? Because he wants more? Because he's saying, wait, if they were going to give us that, maybe we could say, you know what, his hip is no good. Let's see if we can't sneak another pick out of him.
They were
I heard
talking about them trying to get Tatum.
Yeah, Tatum.
Wow,
and
that would be
or
a huge
Jalen
addition to
Brown.
that trade.
I
And
think
then,
that would swing definitely to Cleveland's favor.
I heard
Yeah.
some stuff where Dan Gilbert would be crazy enough to just make sure the trade gets vetoed, and then he's trying to whisper back to Phoenix, like, hey, look, I really am trading Kyrie. Let's get this done.
Then get Johnson,
Try and get
right?
Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson, yeah.
I
Well,
heard
the
that
thing-
Phoenix thought they were bluffing.
That's interesting.
I don't know why they would think they're
If you're
bluffing.
deep in trade talks, like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Hey,
you know?
I was
And
just listening
and
to some
we're not
stuff
in
before we
NBA
hopped on.
circles. We're not in NBA circles, and we know how bad the relationship between LeBron and Kyrie is. You got to know in the NBA how bad it is, even worse than we do. What do you mean you think they're bluffing?
But I mean, and then look at LeBron. Like, it would be normally the first person to endorse someone new on the team, and yeah, he did more like consoling of Kyrie leaving than he did welcoming it. I think he knows there's something up.
He defended, and then he was jumping out there defending the jersey burning,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
like,
ridiculous. But,
don't
yeah.
do that, man. You might need them still because this trade
Yeah, he
ain't
never
real.
even said like, "Oh, this is my new teammate" or anything like that, right? Like
No, he
was
never
just like,
acknowledged
"Oh,
it.
Yeah, yeah. So something's going on there.
Well, the thing with the LeBron is, like, people are like, oh, the draft pick, maybe, like, if they draft someone high. When has LeBron ever showed you that he wanted to play with a rookie? Like, he didn't even give Andrew Wiggins a chance.
Yeah, I was just
Right,
gonna say
and that,
Wiggins
was, that was a couple of years ago. Now at this point, he knows he's towards the end of his career. He's not trying to wait 2 or 3 years for some kid to come into his prime.
Yeah, he needs
Yeah.
guys that are ready the next 2-3 seasons. You know, like right away. Now's his chance to win, and his window's starting to close. So if it already hasn't, so
I wonder how good Wiggins would be if he stayed.
Stayed in college.
No, if he stays in
stayed
Cleveland.
in the Cleveland.
Oh,
and there was no love.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it would probably it would benefit him a hell of a lot because he's going to do his thing on defense, but then on offense, whereas in Minnesota he's been the focal point since he's been there. Now in Cleveland, like LeBron's setting him up for easy passes. LeBron's getting him easy dunks. Like nobody's worried about Wiggins on offense if he's on the
I don't
Cavs.
know that Wiggins would be
Open to
as
it, right?
good.
Would he be open
I don't know
to
if
it,
he would be as good as we think he is right now if he were with Cleveland, but he'd be more efficient. He'd work on different parts of his game. Like his shooting would probably be better because of what you just said. LeBron's going to kick it out to him. He's going to be wide open on the wing. You got to be able to knock that down.
Well,
That's not
LeBron
part of his
just-
game that he really needs to do right now. He's a slasher. Get to the hoop, throw it down.
I think people would think he's better than he is if he was on the Cavs right now because LeBron would have it looking easy for him.
Yeah.
I just mean he's not going to put up the same numbers, so you're not going to
Sure
look
he
at
would.
a piece of paper.
He wouldn't
I don't know that
score
he's-
like 18 points a game on the Cavs. Take Kevin Love scoring out and give Wiggins the ball. He can't make 9 plays around the basket with LeBron.
Well,
I
that's
don't
the
think
thing.
he could.
I think he
That's-
could absolutely score.
The
But-
thing is that he can't shoot threes like Kevin Love, and that's what LeBron needs. If you
Yeah.
get LeBron's like the classic 5 out, 1 in, but he's out 2. he just controls the ball, and you put 4 other shooters around him.
The other
that-
interesting thing about it would be is obviously Love and Wiggins don't play the same position, so they would have had to tinker their roster a bit because like JR and Shumpert wouldn't be playing as much, which is probably a good thing. But I don't know. I
Well,
think he
LeBron could
put
just
up-
play power forward.
I don't think tinkering the roster would have been that much of an issue. The Cavs wanted to get up and down and run, so that tends to lend where you can run out there a couple of smaller guys in a position that maybe they're undersized at.
What
Yeah,
about
'cause
cap
they can
space?
just go LeBron
What-
5, Tristan at the 4, or Tristan at
Yeah.
the 5, LeBron at the 4 kind of thing.
Would there
Yeah,
been any substantial difference in cap space between Wiggins and Love? I don't know. You know that, right, Rich?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Wiggins is
Huge
on the
amount.
rookie contract and Love's on a max.
Well, Wiggins
So-
just signed a extension, didn't he?
So now think of the
Right, but that was
flexibility
before
there.
this season. This wouldn't have been in effect any of the previous seasons.
Like, do they spend that money on someone big? Do they bring in?
Yeah,
Like what?
yeah.
Where is
They would have
is-
been saving $100 mil off, probably like 50, 60 mil difference
is-
in their contract. So
Is that
LeBron
dude
just
will
didn't
probably be
wanna wait.
better than Love?
I don't blame him. It worked out good for the Cavs as is,
Yeah, but like Rich just said, LeBron didn't want to wait, and that was
Well-
a couple of years ago. He's definitely not waiting now if they keep that pick and try and use it.
But in LeBron's defense, he made one mistake, and it's a mistake that I don't think a lot of us saw. So you can't really blame him for him. He didn't see Golden State coming.
Yeah.
Nobody saw Golden State.
Nope,
coming.
nope. Hold on, Anthony. I told Anthony in 2011 that Golden State was going to be good because of what they were doing.
But
I
did
didn't
you see
no,
this coming?
No, I didn't think they were going to. Well, I also didn't think Kevin
Well-
Durant would ever leave.
Which is the kicker. Because everybody hates on them. They did whatever to get their team, but they drafted everybody on their roster.
Yeah, and
Except for
that-
Durant.
him and I had this conversation, and I was like, "You need to watch Golden State. They're going to be really good soon." And when I remember I was telling him they needed to draft Klay Thompson,
Yep.
and then they just blew up. Like I don't like they got rid of Mark Jackson, and all of a sudden Steve Kerr's in there. And now they got Kevin Durant, and now
Yeah,
it's
that
just
really
like,
sucked too because I
Clay and
like Mark
Steph really
Jackson.
jumped into a whole nother level.
And Mark Jackson got shitted on when he said that was the best shooting backcourt ever that he's ever seen, and everybody was quick to shit on him, like, "Oh, you're overreacting." And then that next season that came out, and it was just NBA Jam on fire. And I
That
liked
shit is
them.
insane.
I liked them up until the season after they won their championship, and Steph got all cocky looking, and small ass.
Light skin, man. Team light skin, back-to-back MVP.
Oh, I'm all about Clay. I'm all about Clay.
Yeah.
Clay's
Both
the
of them.
man.
Light skins is back. We in here.
But Draymond, KD, and Steph can all go to hell.
Yo, and they drafted all of them.
Not
Like-
KD, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, not
Draymond went in the second round. Everybody and then some could have got him.
Draymond's just feeding off those suckers. That's all it
You
is.
think he would be trashed on a different team?
Yes, I'm not impressed with. He wouldn't have the assists because the people would be making the shots, and he'd be averaging 9 points and 8 rebounds, just like all the other 6'8" people in the league.
Yeah, but the way the game is played now, he's so suited to it. Like, you know, that he can handle the ball out there like that.
Exactly, and I'll
But
quote
he's in
you.
a
I'll
perfect
quote you on
situation.
that later, McCoy.
Look with the Kings.
The way the
like,
game is
how many-
played now
Rich,
today.
You know how
Remember
many
you
times
said
did
that.
Boogie bring the ball down the court? Like,
A lot.
teams do that now. Like, you don't need your 6'2" point guard running the offense. Like, anybody can do it. Anybody.
I think he would be good, but I do think this is the ideal situation for him.
Yeah, like it's
well.
perfect for what he does.
Yeah.
Like he just fits into that role, and that's exactly what they need. If you put him on like a
Cut
New
his
York Knicks
assists
team
by
that doesn't have anybody
60%.
else good around, he's not going to go out there and ball out and be some stud that's going to lead them to be a winner.
Well, obviously, playing with three All NBA first team players is going to make you better. You said that about anybody.
You didn't hear
But-
about
And I think
Draymond until he played with
Draymond's a
KD.
first
I mean,
team All NBA
Steph and
player
Clay.
himself too.
But I don't think he is in a different situation though.
No.
Like he's on All NBA
Like
teams also. So.
teams can key on him if he's not playing with those other three, and now all of a sudden he's not doing a damn thing.
They'll still get his.
Draymond is the key for their lineup of death, though, because he can play center.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like,
and guard
he-
whoever.
Yes. So
Like anybody out there,
Hey.
he's a better option than.
he's
all
the
but
only one
who?
that showed
Kawhi?
up in Game 7 2 years ago.
Let
The
Joel
only
Embiid
one.
be healthy. He ain't guarding him.
I bet you he will. Embiid
No.
ain't strong enough for him yet.
Draymond ain't strong. Dude's flabby. Get out of here.
All right.
Dude's a
That dude's
sucker.
solid,
You didn't
man.
hear about him on Michigan State. He wasn't talking nothing until he paired with Steph and Clay. Until he got ballers around him.
I seen him on Michigan State getting smoked by the Tar Heels.
Wait, what happened to
Exactly.
Michigan State?
He ain't
Said he
talking
wasn't
nothing.
running his mouth.
The Tar
didn't-
Heels beat Michigan State? What? No. So, McCoy, was it you who brought up this question in the group chat about Draymond and
Yeah,
could he
'cause he-
play back in the day?
Because he pulled a mind trick and tried to get and got me off
No,
with the Bulls
no, Rich,
versus
stop.
Golden
We're
State.
trying to have a discussion
Yeah.
right here.
Stop making things
McCoy?
up, Rich.
McCoy, was it you who brought that up, right?
I guess. I really
So
don't
what-
know how we got into that. Honestly.
So before,
Because you
all right,
didn't want to
well,
talk about your Bulls getting scraped
what-
by the Warriors.
So the question we're going to pose so that we can figure out exactly what we're talking about here is, could Draymond be an effective player? Could he be an all-star, or could he just straight up just be on a team in the 80s or 90s? Which one would you rather put it in? What category, McCoy?
He could definitely be on the team.
I know that, but I'm just trying to figure out what he was posing at the time so we can debate it.
If he would hold his own against the top
Yeah.
tier power forwards back then, right?
So would
Yeah,
he be an
well-
all-star back then?
I think he could be. I don't see
Absolutely
why
not.
not. He's gonna get his rebounds. He's still gonna be one of the best defenders in the league, right?
No.
No,
No.
No, why not?
No.
no, because he's getting bodied by those dudes back then.
Like who?
Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp, Karl Malone.
For Charles Barkley and Draymond would get kicked out of every game they played against each other.
That's
they
fine,
would
but
be
Charles
fighting.
is still going to body him.
If he could try. I don't.
The round mound of rebound is getting at Draymond Green.
He'll get his points, yeah. Is he about to go out there and score 50 on him? Is he about to go out there and embarrass Draymond?
I mean, he might use Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things where it's like I'm not even saying you're wrong because like as I'm sitting here thinking about it, like Charles Barkley was so effective because there was never anyone like Charles Barkley. But now you have this other guy, Draymond. who's-
Draymond's a lot like him, like
Yeah.
body
No,
type
he's
wise
Not,
and everything.
man. Draymond is a lot
not
like
the same
Antoine
size,
Walker, Cybertwan. That's who Draymond is a lot like.
He can't
Draymond,
stroke like
Draymond
Cybertron.
actually,
He can't shoot
Draymond
either.
actually has identical stats to Tom Gugliotta. Actually, go
The Googs.
go look that up. He
How
actually
many
has
triple doubles does Gugliotta have?
he actually has career numbers similar to Christian Leitner, your boy. So I'm really not impressed by this. And these were
How many-
not
how many
not stellar
times-
players in the 80s and 90s, my friend.
How many defensive players of the years do either one of them have? How many times
Draymond
did
wouldn't
they
have
vote
Draymond would have just as many in that day, because he'd be getting bodied on the block for 35 minutes with a shoulder to the chest, not wanting no more, then trying to run up and down with Golden State. He wouldn't want that, dude. Otis Thorpe would ball on his ass, man. Get out of here.
You're crazy. You're just hating right now. That's like Golden State hate.
Elton,
right there.
Elton Brand would put him to bed. And your boy Anton Jameson would ball on him. And these were all mediocre 90s players, man.
No, he's holding his own against them. You act like he doesn't guard dudes that are better than that now. Like he guards every position on the court, but now he can't guard random players. Like
Not because they're
Come on.
bodying him for over a half hour a game, and he doesn't get that right now. He's out
I'm
there on
not
the perimeter.
saying-
But who doesn't he guard right now? He guards centers. Rich just said that.
Yeah,
most
but these
effective
centers
lineup
are
is
like
him.
he's Michael Sweetney, dude. Like these centers are not centers of the 1990s, dude. These centers are out there face up for to start their game. They're not on the block. They're not.
Yeah, like
they're-
there's not a
he
ton
wouldn't
of
defend
post play
nothing,
where
dude.
dudes are banging all game long nowadays.
He's always down low, all the time.
No, he's not. You just said he defends on the perimeter, so make
He
up your
defends
mind.
everybody. 1 through 5, like he's guarding. Like,
Today,
who do you
1
put
through
him on?
5, what we're talking about right now, he's not defending down low in that age. You just said he was great in
When
this.
does Antoine Jameson
in
play
about
down
in,
low?
in about 10 minutes ago, you just said
Antoine
that
Jameson's a
he was
shooter.
great
He's
for
not
this
out there
era.
Backing Draymond down?
No,
I
but
didn't say
he'll
Antoine
shoot.
Jameson. I don't agree with that one.
Yeah, like what do you mean?
I'm saying he's got
Antoine
similar
Jameson's
stats
not
as him, dude. He's
Draymond?
got the same stats. Same
No,
stats.
McCoy, I'm talking about Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp, the studs back in the day that are in the Hall of Fame that were perennial All-Stars. They will body him all game long. He's not going to have any answer for him defensively, and that's going to lead to tired legs, and he's not going to be able to get
Alright,
rebounds
so-
either.
KG
You're
on
saying-
Minnesota is going to make him want to go to the bench,
You're
dude.
saying, yeah, but like KG even, it's like the players that play now. KG started that shit.
Yeah, but
You
he's
know,
going to
the-
post
KG
him up.
made a living off a 15-foot jumper, son.
But he'll
He was
post
the
him
first power
up.
forward I've ever seen bring the ball up.
Yeah, so like, what do you mean? Like, Straub's talking Hall of Famers, which okay, you know, people aren't stopping the best players ever. I'm cool with that. But then
Well, I
you
mean,
want to go down.
That's what the All-Stars
Right.
back in the 80s and
Right.
90s were those dudes. They happen to be Hall of Famers.
Then you want to go down to like Jameson, like these type of dudes. Like
That's Kev.
I don't.
No,
think
I
they're-
said he
no,
has the same
Draymond-
stats as him, dude. Go
I'm
look
not
it
worried
up.
about his stats though.
This is the same player,
defensive-
dude.
What defensive stats show are you speaking about though?
It's the
But what-
same. I'm talking
did his
points,
points per
rebounds,
game-
assists, dude.
Did his points per game and assists per game get?
It sounds like you, as much as I hate him, you love him, dude. Damn. Damn, you got a Draymond
I'm just
jersey on
trying to
under
figure
there?
out what the hate for. Like
Because he's not that good. He would get his ass waxed on the
That's-
court in the 80s and 90s. That's
that's
why.
exactly the problem. That people say he's not that good. This man had 34 points in almost a triple double in Game 7 when nobody on his team. Showed
Jeremy
up.
Lin had 30 points, dude.
And
I'm
now
not
he
impressed.
sucks. Come on, man. This man
It's
won
about one
defensive
game.
player- This man, rightfully
Dude averages
won
9
defensive-
points a game.
This man rightfully won Defensive Player of the Year over Kawhi Leonard.
And he shouldn't
and
have.
sucks.
That's he
he
shouldn't
sucks?
have. That's
Come on,
rigged. Kawhi's taking that all day.
Right.
You sound. Come on, man.
Oh, well, this is coming from the guy that JP Losman was God. So calm
Not to
down.
me. When did I ever say he was good? That never once came out of my mouth.
Okay.
Okay. JP Losman. Well, I thought McCargo was nice too, right? I don't want any of these clowns. I just don't understand how people could say he sucks. Like he clearly doesn't.
I'm not saying that he sucks. I'm just saying
Kev
that in
just
that
did.
era.
He said his
and that,
stats suck, right? So he
I
sucks.
didn't say that at
Sucks.
all.
Sucks.
I'm saying that in that era, he would not have been an all-star.
So
The
what do you
guys
think
were
he would have
too
been?
good that in that era.
He's
He
not
would've been
winning
a good-
defensive player
He
of
would
the
have been
year.
a good, nice guy to have on the team, but he wasn't going to be an all-star. He wasn't going to be a game changer
He's a starter?
like he is today. Yeah, he would have been a starter.
though.
Well, it depends on the team, I guess. It depends on the team.
Back and back then, is he even a power forward? Probably a small forward, 6'8", getting bodied because he sucks.
I mean, he could play wherever. He's that size now, and he's guarding 7-foot dudes, right?
But it's a different style that's played today than it was back then. Like Anthony Davis can step out. Back then, centers weren't stepping out at all.
So if he's
So
so
to say
trash,
that I'm just saying, so you can't say that he could guard a center because he couldn't back then. It's a different beast.
how do you
like
know
you're-
he couldn't, though?
Shaq was a center. Hakeem Olajuwon was
Well,
a center.
Come on, bro.
Battle.
Patrick Ewing was.
You're talking about
Patrick
the
Ewing
most
was a
dominant
center.
player in the game. Like,
Again,
Yeah, he
these
couldn't
dudes
guard
are the
Shaq,
ones who played
McCoy.
in that era, though.
He
Like I'm not
sucks.
just putting that guy out there. These are the dudes that played in that era.
Yeah, he couldn't guard Shaq. He sucks. He's out of here.
you just said he sucks, man.
I know. That's why I'm telling you again. He sucks. Couldn't guard Shaq. Sucky ass. Well, we've been talking about his sucky ass.
Like I understand that he can guard fives today, but I don't think he could guard fours back then, let alone fives.
So if he's such a liability, why doesn't a big man with a post game back him down?
Couldn't
Because
guard
that's not
Rick
how the game
Smits
is
either.
played anymore, McCoy.
So you mean to tell me if somebody thought they could exploit that, they wouldn't do it? It's not like
That's not how the
teams,
game's played, though.
it's
No.
not like teams don't go in the post when there's a mismatch.
Except the problem is, if you do that to Draymond, the Warriors are just going to go down court and hit a three, and now you're down by one. Go ahead and exchange that all game long, and you lose by 30.
If you take him down in the post, they're
So
going to
no,
go hit a
teams-
three.
If you back him down and you hit a two in the post, the Warriors are going to come down and hit a three. So you just traded your 2 points to give up three.
But what
you
is
do that
their
all game
di-
long, you lose by 30.
What
That's
is
why
the
teams
Warriors'
aren't going to just go
offense,
after
like-
him.
That doesn't make sense.
How doesn't it make sense?
Because why? Because you posted Draymond up, they're hitting a three automatically.
They
Because
don't,
what do the
and they don't
Warriors
have
do?
the guy to post him up.
So
Hold
play
on, no, no.
defense after you score.
What do the Warriors do?
So play defense after the basket.
You tell that to everybody in the NBA who
So the
couldn't
guy
stop them.
that backed Draymond down, just obviously there's a one-on-one, right? So why doesn't he stay with Draymond and everybody else guards their guy?
What does that have to do with backing Draymond down and exploiting him?
That's what I'm trying to find out from you.
Strub's basically saying three is worth more than two.
Yeah, exactly. If you're
Okay,
exchanging
so-
3 for 2 all game long, you're going to
Like-
lose by 30 points. That's why teams don't go after Draymond just to get 2 points.
Hey, then that's what it is.
It's a system. It's the system.
That's what it is then. I
It was
just
a
think
good-
if you could get easy buckets, why wouldn't you do it, you know?
That's why this is a debate, man. We all have our own opinions.
Rich, you haven't chimed in much on here. I know that you were kind of conflicted back and forth during our group chat. during
Because
the
I
week
think
about it.
I think he would be what he is.
An all-star? You think he would be able to be an all-star back then?
Yeah. I don't think he'll be a perennial all-star or like perennial all-star starter.
He's not really that now, is he?
Well, he made the last two, and I think that's more of the hype of the seven. Like he's like I don't want to say hype, but like 73 wins, and then like they won a
Being on that
championship.
team.
Yeah, yeah. But like I was just strolling like through some of the All-Star games and who started for like the West and like who was on the team, and like he couldn't make the All-Star team over Kevin Duckworth.
Kevin.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he couldn't make it over, like Otis Thorpe.
Kev already
Yeah,
threw his
no,
name out.
They got the
Obviously,
same
he's right
numbers.
at him.
Obviously
They got the
not.
same exact numbers, dude. And I don't think Draymond would have the assists on any other team than the Warriors. Like
Like,
he
he
would
couldn't
not
make it over
have
Sean
those
Elliott.
assists. He didn't go through what Sean Elliott went through, so no.
Like, I think he would be what he is now. He would be a really good defensive player. Like B.J. Armstrong made an All-Star.
Oh,
Like-
we
Yo,
we
BJ
saw him,
BJ
Rich.
had a couple of
Listen,
really
BJ
hold on.
BJ
All right, listen,
Armstrong
I'm
is
gonna-
a,
now
is
that
a
I think about it,
genius.
I have something to say about
We
it.
used to watch him every night.
Here we
Watch
go.
what you say,
Here we
Rich.
go.
What?
Picking up the mic. Hold on.
You better talk just like he did too.
Kev, we don't have enough time for me to talk like him.
State the obvious.
We need to stop romanticizing the 90s. Like it was the best era of basketball because it wasn't. Like right now is the best era of basketball. Everyone's 6'8", everyone can dribble, everyone can shoot, everyone's athletic. Now is the best time for basketball. There's no one-on-one, give it to your shooting guard, let him shoot 35 times to get 30 points. There's none of that. And if there is that, people are like, hey, that team's not good because they play like that. Like, this is the best era of basketball. Those other years were like the Knicks, like the 90s Knicks. We love the 90s Knicks because we grew up in that era and because they were bullies and like Anthony Mason was the man.
They had some fly dudes on the team. That's
Yeah,
why
they
we liked
did.
them.
But those teams were just like out there like elbowing people in the face, like starting fights. Like that's cool to like watch, but like that's
That's
not
what
good
Draymond's
basketball.
doing, grabbing nuts. Like, get out of here.
So, Rich, I think people don't.
like honestly, like put Charles Oakley or LJ, man, in the same position, and he's gonna get 9 points, 9 rebounds,
that dude said
and
they
maybe
can't do
5 or
everything
6
he can,
assists.
though, son.
He can't make 3 threes a game in that system and grab 8 rebounds.
What was Charles Oakley good at besides fighting people?
Toughness. Rebounding.
Down low,
That was
dude.
it, he was an
He got
intimidator.
his rebounds and he got some down low
He
points.
was an intimidator. That was it.
Listen, right now, if you have a Charles Oakley on the court, you will get exploited because he adds nothing to your team.
It's Tristan
Yeah.
Thompson.
Huh?
Because
Trash.
they will find a mismatch. It happened to the Memphis Grizzlies when they played Golden State a few years ago. Tony Allen, toughness, competitor, defense. What did they do? They put their center on him and just took him out of the play and shot threes on him all day long. They had Andrew Bogut guard him, didn't give a damn about him. Like it's just not the same. Like the league is better now. It's smarter.
So, Rich, I agree with you that the talent level, the athleticism, the way the game is played today absolutely is better. It is much more enjoyable to
Yeah,
watch.
I'm not arguing
But
that.
I think the NBA was better, and people are so much more in love with the 90s because the competitive balance was so much better. Like
Was
this
it,
year,
though?
the NBA playoffs.
What do you mean the
weren't
Bulls
good.
won 6 championships
Yeah,
out of the
was it?
8? Like,
But
what do you-
it was different teams that were competing out of the West, and the Bulls weren't sweeping their way through the playoffs every single year to get into that championship.
But every
there were
year
there were at least some other teams that had good all-stars that could give guys good quality games and some competition. Look at the NBA playoffs this year, and it was no question from game 1 to the NBA Finals where it got over.
You
Golden
knew it was
State
going to
gonna win
happen.
it. And you knew they were going to play the Cavs, and you knew the Cavs were going to play the Celtics, and you knew the Celtics were going to get their asses whooped.
I didn't know they were going to play the Celtics. I didn't think
I
that
did.
was
Who
for
else was
sure.
going to come out of the East
The
after this
Wizards.
year?
Like the Wizards were good.
They were good, but I think it would have been a shock for them to have beat the Celtics.
I wouldn't have been shocked.
I wouldn't have been shocked at all.
I would have just because of what you were talking about, McCoy, with the Raiders. Like they haven't played any big games yet. They haven't learned how to win. Boston's been there, so I would have been shocked if the Wizards were able to upset them and move on.
This Boston team ain't really been
Yeah, I
there
was going to say the players haven't.
They've
The
been
logo-
in the playoffs
the logo
last few
has.
years.
in the playoffs, but that
The-
like
The logo
They've
has.
won some
but
games
the,
and won some series.
Yeah,
But I just think that's why a lot of people say and are so in love with the '90s, though. To Rich's
Well, no,
point.
my thing is just
that
like
they-
Rich is
it
pointing
was
out.
more competitive back then, I think.
Just like Rich is pointing out this different styles, I just don't think that I think his style is perfect for today. I just don't think he's got the moxie and the whatnot to be down. The game was down low 80% of the time.
Oh no. I think his game is perfect for today. You're right. Like in
Yeah.
that aspect, you're 100% right. Like he's built for today's game, and I don't know. And like that's part of the. thing
And that's
where I
my
go
whole
back and
argument.
forth.
I just said
Like,
he's
that's
not.
where I go back.
I
and
don't think
forth
he's
with
the
that, because
man.
I don't
back
know
there.
how he would handle the block for 45 minutes.
And then running in that
Everything's on the
offense,
perimeter.
and then running the
Yeah.
offense. So get a shoulder to your sternum for 30 to 40 minutes, and then run up and down like Golden State does, and then ask to do all this defensive stuff and this and that. I don't see it. But what I eat don't make you shit, to quote Jay-Z from our episode the other day. So it is what it is.
So I think this is a good one. We'll throw up on Twitter and see what everybody that listens kind of think, because we're kind of split. We're on the fence between Kevin and I saying no. McCoy says yes. Rich doesn't really know. So we'll throw it up on
Yeah,
Twitter.
Rich,
keep
you
your
don't
eyes
know.
out on it,
indecisiveness.
Well,
and we'll see.
I can
We'll see
either
what
be
the
on
people
he
have
really
to say.
sucks or he's a god. Like I don't know where to be.
Apparently no other
Yeah.
team, right?
He sucks. He can't guard Shaq. He sucks.
Can't guard Shaq.
You suck.
They did on 2K this year. On 2K this year, they're having Kobe and KG do like guest commentary, and they showed some of it today, and KG was talking about the first time he guarded Shaq, and he said it felt like he was holding up a house.
This is a big motherfucker.
Yeah.
I remember working at Anaconda and always having his sneaker right there, man. That thing was
Yeah,
huge.
big ass sneaker.
That's funny.
All right,
You
we
saw
gotta
your-
get into some Game of Thrones
Uh-oh.
here. We're starting to run out of time here. Kev, you got one more comment? You're not gonna be able to talk much of Game of Thrones. So go
Nah,
ahead.
go ahead, man. I saw this list
Talking,
of
man.
questions here, so I'm gonna.
Keep on talking.
I got the 12 biggest questions after the Game of Thrones finale, so I'm gonna see if you guys
Oh, okay.
bring
All
up
right.
any of these things or not.
All right. So you guys, we weren't sure if Rich was gonna be able to see it or not, but was able to stay up last night. Was a trooper to get it in, and I bet you're glad you did. It was a great episode.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
So there was a bunch of shit I took down. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to talk about? Because I'm sure you'll probably hit on one or two of these.
Was it
that I-
extended
I
again,
wrote
like
down.
the last one?
Hey, this one was like
Yeah.
an hour and a half.
It was 80 minutes long.
Yeah.
Damn.
Did you like this one better than last week's?
Yeah. Like the dragon being raised last week was still the coolest shit ever, but I like this episode better.
It was better this week seeing him in action though.
Yeah, the blue fire coming out.
That part, I mean, not to start at the end of the episode, but that, like what you said about the effects earlier, like when my boy rode up on the dragon at the end, it looked mad weird for a second, right?
I kind of felt like I was watching a video game. Like
Yeah,
when he
he
had
just sorta
the
popped
dragon
in.
flying by, yeah.
He's like, oh, there he is.
But at the same time, I can't blame them. Like, it probably would have taken them another year before they could have released it if they got the effects how they've
Right.
done it with the dragons and other short scenes.
Yeah, for a dragon, for a zombie king riding up on a dragon shooting blue flames, I feel like they
Yeah,
did
it couldn't
pretty
really
good.
have been an easy shoot.
I don't know. I mean, what was your favorite part of the episode?
Man.
Why
I
don't
don't know
you
if
just
I-
run off what you wrote down, and then we'll piggyback.
All right, I'm
on
going to
that.
start from the top. The first one was we finally got confirmation that Jon Snow is not Jon Snow and that his actual name is Aegon Targaryen. So what we've always thought that
The worst kept secret in the world.
yeah, exactly. I did think it was really interesting that his name is Aegon, though, because we've heard Daenerys talk about breaking the wheel. The wheel was created by Aegon the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Now you have a new Aegon. Maybe that's the way the wheel gets broken. Full circle kind of deal. That was the first thing I wrote down. What'd you guys think?
I liked how they dropped that in right before they showed him banging his aunt.
Yo,
Yo, man.
I was like, oh, this is good timing.
can we talk about this for a second? Because only this show would make people, and I heard them saying it last night when I was at work and I hadn't seen it yet. They were like, well, at least it's just an aunt and a nephew and it's not a brother and sister. It's still incest, people. It's still not okay.
Game
Yeah,
of
like
Thrones
her
is the only
brother-
thing that could let that ride, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of ridiculous to me that people are just like, oh, they're such a cute couple.
Maybe
It's
Family
okay, it's
Guy.
aunt and uncle. They're not brother and sister like the
No,
other
that's
two.
not. That'd be like if Adam had a daughter and you married her, Like, that's
Like,
that's
no.
not okay.
No.
It's not okay.
the whole. All right, this is my thing with that, because I've been thinking about it today, and it's been kind of pissing me off. The show is ahead of the books, right?
Yes.
So unless him sleeping with her has some direct cause or correlation with something that's gonna happen, the shit didn't have to happen.
Well,
I
in
think
the
it's
books,
going to. I think
Just
they're
keeping
gonna,
it going.
I think they're going to be pregnant.
Rich in the books, Jon Stark's in love with Arya.
So what's wrong with that?
That's his sister.
It's not really his sister though.
It's
Yeah,
his cousin.
true. So
It's
yeah,
his cousin.
right, his cousin.
Like,
Yeah.
unless
So-
But
her
Rich,
getting
to your
Slide
pregnant,
point,
down
though,
the scale.
but to your point, that was something else that I had written down. I think that they're going to have Daenerys have Jon's baby, or at least be pregnant with him in the next series.
So
For the next
Straw,
season.
on this list of questions, that's one of the things is, does he continue the incest or does he cut it? Does he stop it?
when he
so-
finds out,
Does he keep banging the ant, man?
I think
Does he
that they're probably they're going to find out, and they're going to be like, oh no, we can't do this, and she's going to be like, except that I've got a baby coming now.
Yeah.
Like, you done
Well-
fucked up and you impregnated me.
you don't
Take care of your
impregnate your
business.
aunt, Jon Snow.
like it has to have something to do with it, because there's really no
Absolutely.
reason to have them have sex if
The other
it's
reason
just
that
be like, oh, hey, you slept with your aunt.
Yeah, the other reason,
Sucks
I'll
for
be
you,
so
Jon
mad.
Snow.
the other reason that I think that they're going to have a kid and that they did that is because the actual writer of the book said that the ending that he has planned is going to be bittersweet. So I could see something where like John's child lives, but he dies at the end, some type of deal like that. There's your bittersweet kind of moment. So
Both of them
that-
aren't living.
Yeah, that's what I put 2 and 2 together in my mind, at least for those two. The other thing that stood out that I thought was awesome was finally got to see Littlefinger die.
Yeah, he had that
He
coming. I'm
finally
glad it
got
happened
his. Yeah, he
quick,
finally
too.
got his.
Yeah, well, they showed more like Bran's powers, obviously, going back to like the wedding thing, even because they had said he he went back in time to watch the marriage. So
Yeah, to actually see Lyanna getting
yeah,
married to
so
Rhaegar.
apparently, if you tell Bran something happened, he can just jump back in time and look at it at that point. So
So why does anything happen?
yeah, right. Like if you tell him it happened, he can go see it and do whatever, you know. So yeah, it's weird, but I'm glad they got Littlefinger up out of there quick. Why drag it out at this point?
So
You knew he
you
was gonna
also
die.
did you also notice that Arya cut his neck, just slit his
To
throat.
get his face right.
Exactly. You know she's gonna put that face on, and they're gonna try and use her to like backdoor and do something with probably with Cersei. I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely. He's gonna pop up as him again.
Yep. The other thing with Bran was, and this was a theory that was like in the first couple of seasons, people kind of threw it out there, but it's been gaining a little more steam now. Is Bran having a connection with the Night King, possibly being the Night King somehow, and the wardrobe that he's been wearing when he starts to go back in those flashbacks looks pretty damn close to the same exact wardrobe that the Night King wears. Have you guys heard this theory?
Yeah, I've seen
I
that
haven't
one.
really read a whole bunch of it, but I knew that was what people thought.
So the whole theory basically is the Three-Eyed Raven told Bran earlier in the series that if you control somebody for too long, you can become stuck in that person's body, and that Bran is trying to change the past because he knows what's going to happen in the Great War and that the White Walkers will win. So they think that he went back and the Mad King screaming "Burn 'em all" was Bran whispering to him "Burn 'em all," meaning the White Walkers. But instead it drove him mad. And the other part is that because that failed, he then went further back to when the Children of the Forest created the first Night King, the White Walker, and that Bran tried to control him but got stuck in his body when that glass got stabbed into his heart, hence him becoming the Night King.
It's a pretty in-depth theory there.
I mean, it's a pretty in-depth show.
I hope. Yeah, I mean that's could definitely be a possibility, but I would think at this point because it's so out there, like hopefully they didn't go that route.
Yeah,
That'd be
well,
pretty
there's
lame if
definitely-
everybody figured it out 4 seasons ago, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's got to be some type of connection between Bran and the Night King because he keeps on being able to see him in these visions and touch him.
Because he touched them.
Because he's the Night King and he's up in his space.
He's just that good.
Yeah, my boy ain't playing that, man. He does it all, man. You're in a space with a Raven, he knows. You need a javelin toss, he's your man.
There was one thing that confused me in the show. Maybe you guys can clear it up. When Cersei, which by the way, she sucks, but she is smart. She's clever. She is a clever woman making some moves like that. When she was talking to Jaime and she gave the Mountain the nod to kill him, why didn't he kill him?
Because she didn't say to kill him.
Yeah, she didn't say to kill him.
Both of them called him out.
I thought when she gave him the nod and he pulled the sword, that was her saying, "Go ahead and do it," and he just didn't.
Nah, I think he just didn't give like the kill order, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the interesting thing with that is Jaime did that and Tyrion did the same thing a couple scenes before that. He was like, kill me then.
yeah.
So,
when
she's actually showing some sort of like emotion, like, to spare people, which is interesting. But I think her plan is stupid as hell.
Oh, absolutely. She's an idiot. But, she's smart. She sees all these things. She picked up on the dragon and that there's one missing
Yeah.
and that
Yep.
it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't there. The other thing, go ahead, Rich. You got something?
Yeah, I was thinking, she didn't just go and like talk to them after Tyrion talked to her without him making a deal with her. So what did he promise her?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm sure there was something.
Like-
Because you also saw that eerie kind of look he had when John
Yeah,
and
like
Dany were in the bedroom or the boat
She
or
didn't
whatever.
just change her mind for him.
Yeah.
He definitely
she
did
got
something.
out of it.
Yeah.
But I'd
Tyrion
also
was just
say,
giving that look because he wanted it.
he also will lie. He said that to John when he pledged to Danny instead of saying that he'd stay neutral in the war. He was like, why don't you learn to lie a little bit? So I wouldn't be surprised if Tyrion promised her something but doesn't mean it at all, though.
Well, everybody said that. Theon said the same thing to
Well,
him.
that line is a blurry line for me. Like, where when push comes to shove, like, where's Tyrion gonna roll with? Because he didn't want Jaime to die, and he really wanted to talk to his sister. Like, when he was talking to her, like, there was some real emotion there.
Yeah, it'll
So-
be one to keep an eye on, because I think that kind of will throw the weight of the power for the throne one way or the other, depending on what he does.
Yeah, she was
he-
shook when the dragon landed. Like, she
Yeah,
played
she
it off cool, but she was kind of shook.
You need to be.
As you should be.
There was another interesting spot that I don't think anybody's going to know what it meant, but it was interesting to me nonetheless. When the Hound walked up to confront the Mountain, and he said, "This isn't how it ends for you, brother. You know who's coming for you. You always have."
I thought he meant the Night King.
I thought he meant him.
See, I didn't know what the hell he meant.
I thought he meant the Night King because he's technically dead. So if the Night King comes back, he can control him right away.
But is he dead, though?
Yeah, he died.
I
They brought him
thought,
back to life.
I thought whoever the Hand of the King is now for Cersei, that,
Qyburn
a
or
creep.
whatever, Qyburn.
yeah, I thought he was able to keep him alive, but he said he wasn't quite human, he wasn't quite dead, like something like that. So I didn't know if he was fully like dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I just assumed right off the bat he meant the Night King because of that reason. So maybe it is something different. I know there's going to be a Hound versus Mountain battle, so I'm here for
Absolutely.
it.
Yep.
The Clegane Bowl.
What are you, Rich? What are you most excited for to see to come to a close in the last season?
I just want to see how they tie it all together. Like, something fly is going to go down. I do want to make an addendum to my prediction last week that the bond between the dragon and Khaleesi was going to be so strong that it stops. I think now that we know who Jon Snow is, and they made such a big deal that he was able to pet the dragon, I think now when they're in the battle and they look like they're going to lose, because Jon Snow always looks like he's about to lose, the
Always.
dragon's going to come to him and it's going to stop because he's the true heir. And it's going to have that connection to him already.
Okay.
So it's going to be Jon Snow who stops it and not Khaleesi. And then Khaleesi's going to be like, oh, damn. Like, it's not me.
That's my nephew.
Slash man.
You, my man,
Slash
my
baby
nephew.
daddy. It went from Game of Thrones to an episode of Maury.
It's just familiar. That's just familiar.
McCoy, what about you? What are you looking forward to for the last episode, or the last season? Even though we got to wait a year.
You already know I'm here for the battle.
Yeah.
The wall falling down right at the end. Like the next time we see the wall, there's gonna be all hell breaking loose at it. So
Yeah, so that was the last thing I
Yep.
actually had listed here. They showed Tormund and
the guy, the Barrack guy, Sir Barrack, or
yeah,
whatever,
Sir
right?
Beric of whatever. I don't think they're dead. Like, they would have shown them die when the
Yeah.
wall came down. I think they're going to
For
be
sure.
left on a part of the wall that was maintained, and now they're going to be behind the Army of the Dead. They're going to come into play somehow in the last season too with that battle.
Well, it depends on what the army does. Like, are they just gonna march right through, or are they gonna kill everybody on there? I'd imagine
It looked like they were just
would
marching
murder
through.
everybody.
They weren't worrying about what was on the thing. It just looked like they were going through.
Yeah, but I think they would sweep through and try to kill the dudes there. You know?
Well, they're not
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, but the
true.
Night's King is.
Yeah, but he ain't worried about them. He got a
Yeah,
dragon.
but he kills more people. He's got
Oh,
a bigger
that's true.
army.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not really an inconvenience for his army of dead to
Just
went up
raise
in
your
there and go,
hands.
yeah, right. Like, so why not
Yeah.
take extra soldiers? You know, obviously he's all in right now. His troops are at the center of the table, like he's attacking. So
When they
Oh,
said
no.
he had 100,000 men, like, he had a little
At
bit more
least.
than that.
She said at least. That's what she saw. It was at least 100,000.
that part was cool in the beginning, actually, when all the armies came in to the Dragon
Yeah,
Pit.
with the
I was like,
Unsullied
the
and-
Unsullied
yep.
and all the ships.
And then the Dothraki coming in.
Dothraki, yep. And Jamie was like, "We can't beat them." So he's up out of there, right? Like,
Yeah,
Where's
he's
he
on his way
going?
north. He's going to
Yeah.
fight with them. He's going to
So-
probably link back up with Brianna Tarth.
I told you from the beginning. I told you, man, the Kingslayer's coming back, stabbing her, bang. He dies.
Now you gotta wait a year.
Yeah?
Now I gotta wait 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Might
going to
not
be a year and a
till
half, so
19.
it's not coming out till 2019.
Yeah. And now I can chime in at the end of these things and stop
Yeah, now
listening
you
to
can
you
catch
guys
up with
fucking
us.
banner.
All right, we're an hour in, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. Kev, come on back in the conversation. Give us your corner, buddy.
Hey, McCoy, were you going to do anything on the fight?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about it now. Once I
All
do
right,
this.
so let's duel it together because I kind of wanted to hear how you had the barbecue with Johnny, right?
Yeah, we had the Derek's
Yeah,
house.
so-
It was me, Derek, Ak.
Let's do a
Derek's
joint corner, man. We got the block on the block on fire over here. Go
Block
ahead.
is hot. The block is
Yeah.
hot. All right, I'm with it.
Yeah, I want to hear how the barbecue was, what you guys thought of the fight, and let's hear it, man. There was a lot of build up, so I want to hear what you
Yeah,
guys
the
have to
barbecue
say.
was good. We had a bunch of wings, some king crab legs,
Oh man,
sausage and peppers, 3 buckets.
would you bring the
some
dipping
strawberry-
sauce?
I had some strawberry lemonade mix. That was nice. Had me feeling right.
Yeah.
We played some beer pong. Didn't play bago, but me and Johnny were holding it down in beer pong.
What was your
Wow.
contributions? The dipping sauce?
$20 I spent to go there.
No, you didn't bring the crab legs, man.
Yeah, it's still there. Man. So I'm on the way over.
You just like your boy Jameis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you saw him talking about the rescue the goats. Did you see that on Hard Knocks, McCoy?
No, I didn't watch the
Oh,
latest one.
watch
I gotta
that,
do
man.
tomorrow.
There's a
I'm
goat
watching.
rescue. You holding that down too?
Nah, I'm all for it already. I'm gonna watch that after this now. But the build up to the fight, yeah, I mean, the fight was actually pretty decent. Conor did solid to start, but as you knew was gonna happen, he faded late. He won like the first 3 rounds. Probably on I think on one of the judges'
I saw
scorecards.
the scorecards. He won the first 3 rounds on 1. The other 2 had him win in the first round, and that was it.
Yeah, he got tired. Like you knew he was gonna if you watch him ever fight. I think Floyd outlanded him like 170 to 111, and Floyd was at like 56% for the fight land percentage, and Conor was at like 25. So, if you've seen Mayweather fight before, this wasn't anything unexpected. Floyd definitely pushed him a little bit because he was going for the stoppage, which he ended up getting, and everybody complained about it.
You saw
Were you
Connor.
cool with the
Connor
stoppage?
landed.
Kev, Coy, were you guys cool with the stoppage?
Did any of you see it?
I saw the last round where they stopped it.
I was fine with it. The dude was getting hands put on him. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he had no
The ref's
defense. He
job-
wasn't trying to
right.
fight back. That's what boxing is. That's when it gets called. I was cool with it.
Derek is adamant that the stoppage was way too early, and that he told me that nobody ever gets stopped in boxing without getting knocked down first.
Oh.
And I told him that's completely ridiculous. 'cause it's
They
extended stoppage
stop
in
people in
happen all the
boxing
time.
before they get knocked down. One more
Right,
step
because
would
they
have
don't
been
want
UFC wouldn't have stopped it. He'd have got slept, and it'd have been the same. One more punch would have put him down, dude. Like and
Right, that's
Floyd would have
exactly
did
what I
it.
said, son.
But Connor landed more punches than Pacquiao, so give him credit.
Yeah, he did. He did pretty good, honestly. I mean, he didn't land anything like with power or anything like damaging. He might have dropped Floyd's head back like a time or two in the fight, but
I did see one counter uppercut he hit him with in the first or second round. That was mean. Connor caught Floyd.
yeah,
You could definitely tell it woke him up a little bit.
had
He
few
did a
good
lot more
punches.
than anybody expected, though. Like my boy Max
Absolutely,
Kellerman
yeah.
said, he wasn't going to touch him. So
He did solid. I think a lot of Floyd's game plan to go bang too was contributing to that because he's gonna leave himself open,
yeah,
Plus the man's 40 years old and hasn't fought in 2 years, so Conor did good though. It was a good fight.
you think he took him as serious as he would have a Pacquiao or someone else?
No, I'm sure he didn't. Why
You
would he?
don't. He didn't train 110%, right?
Well, he said he didn't spar for the last. I mean, he said this, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. But he said he didn't spar for the last month before the fight because he has brittle hands, and he said he didn't want to break his hands because he knew he wanted to knock the dude out. But
I actually heard a report about that before the fight. Somebody was talking about why Floyd wouldn't be able to knock him out, and it was because his hands have pretty much been trashed for the last 6 or 7 years.
if that fight continued, he was sleeping. It was only a matter of
Yeah.
time. Conor was so
Yeah.
gassed at that point. All he was gonna do was get beat up worse. He's 29. He has future fights ahead of him. Still, don't let him take the damage. So
They
I
did.
thought the
They
stoppage
did him
was
a
fine.
favor because he
Yeah,
would
right.
have.
Like,
He would have hit
you
the
know,
man.
That's why the ref's in there to protect the fighter. So, I can't stand when the people are like, oh, early stoppage. Obviously the fighter is going to say, let me get knocked out. But the ref's job is to not let the fighter get hurt more than he needs to, you know?
Fighters that do get knocked out wake up and say, "Why'd you stop the fight? I was good."
So,
Yeah.
that's
You know?
exactly what I
Like,
said.
come on.
So, I said the same thing. Like, fighters are always going to complain about the stoppage. And Conor even said, he wasn't like, oh, that stoppage was horrible. He said, I think it was a bit early.
Yeah,
He knew-
meaning
he
I
knew
was
the
one
writing
punch
was on
away
the
from
wall.
going down.
Right.
He was
Right.
cool.
And
He got his
stumbling.
he got his 100 mil or whatever it was.
Yeah, right.
so-
That's why they were happy after the fight.
wasn't too early. Let me go cash that
Yo,
check.
so, so I got a question for you guys. Then you watch fighting. Where does he go from here, McGregor, with his next fight?
He's
Back
going
to
to be in the
UFC.
UFC. He's
But
gonna
what is
fight.
he gonna? But what? Like he's had contract disputes and threatened to retire before because of money. He just got paid at least $30 million. Probably going to be closer to like 80 by the time all the revenue is in.
They'll pay
Is he
him
going to go
strong.
back to fighting for $5 million
John-
in the UFC?
With John Bones
Well,
Jones getting that steroid charge, they'll pay
Yeah,
him.
That's a big contributor, and I heard that the UFC might offer him shares of the company.
Okay, so he's going to be like that transcending dude.
Yeah, he just put
Pretty
them.
much.
If they weren't already on the map, like big time, like he just amped that up even more.
No, Rich, I'm not saying the UFC's not on the map. They just don't pay their fighters. Like they are
Yeah, Rich,
grimy
what the
with what
fuck,
they
man?
pay their fighters.
I didn't say shit about the UFC. I was gonna ask McCoy a question.
Rich been quiet for like 5 minutes, you asshole.
Right? I haven't said a fucking
What
thing.
the hell?
Man,
Come
no.
on, Rick. Shut up, Rick.
Come on, Rick.
That was
I don't
classic.
even want to ask my question now. Over here minding my
It was
P's and
entertaining,
Q's.
and I'm glad it's over, though, honestly.
Go ahead, Rickley.
All right, my question's for McCoy. I think I watched every UFC fight from like 96 to like 130 with you. Right?
Yeah.
So at that time, like 2008, 9, 10, I used to think the UFC ran the best out of all the sports leagues. Like Dana White was doing things that like other sports leagues didn't do. But like, so Conor McGregor's the star now, right? Because they
Yeah.
don't have stars. Like that's their
Only
biggest
one.
problem. They don't have
Yeah.
anyone. Like they had Ronda Rousey, but no one's gonna ever really rock with a woman, no matter how good she is.
She got to stay
So like
undefeated.
he's the one, right? But like how long until that wears off? Like how many fights is he gonna get rocked in and look like a fool in, and then you'd be like, oh, screw this guy.
It depends on what happens in the UFC. If he starts
what I
losing
mean.
UFC fights, then I think that'll go downhill real quick if he loses like 2 or 3. But
But, like,
if
is he
keeps
good
knocking
like that?
Yeah, he's really good in the UFC. He
Okay.
knocks everybody out. Like, and honestly, I really don't think a lot of these other dudes can really touch him in the UFC. So, as long as he gets that first round knockout, he's good. Other than that, you see like Nate Diaz drove him into the 5th round and beat him the first time. Actually, they fought, choked him out. That's whoever's going to beat that dude in the UFC has to be able to take a punch, take his power in the first round, and then just wear him out. Like I think there's dudes that can definitely beat him there, but honestly, I would rather have him keep knocking dudes out in the UFC. That's better than what we're getting. I don't want to see the guys that beat him are going to be the wrestlers, which I'm not trying to watch them fight.
Nah, yeah. Dana White already said that no more boxing. All UFC. No. That boxing thing was real quick to that money grab for Mayweather and all that, but
Yeah, like
No
I
more
think that was the
boxing.
perfect scenario. One time, that matchup, you really couldn't do that with anybody else because, like Rich said, there is no other superstar. There's no other UFC dude who's going to bring in that draw.
nah. Like who is it?
And
Cormier.
there's no boxer out there either. There's
my
no boxers
barber-
that are a superstar either. So
My barber
you're
is
on
best
both sides.
friends with Cormier. He goes to all them fights. You're gonna throw him up there? He just got the business by John Bones Jones. And
Yeah, no. If you put Cormier
With-
in the boxing ring, he would get whooped.
with or without
All them dudes
steroids,
wanna
John
fight
Bones is taking out
all the-
Cormier.
All them dudes want to fight the boxers now. Like the UFC heavyweight champion's calling out the boxing heavyweight champion. They want the money.
Yeah,
If it's
there's
Tyson Fury that's the boxing champ still, then the UFC dude needs to stay quiet.
No, Tyson Fury.
there's a
got
big fight
something
coming
about
up, right,
doing
McCoy?
coke.
Like this weekend.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, that happened like immediately after he won the belt.
Triple G fights this weekend or next weekend?
That's next month on the 16th, I think.
Ah, I thought it was the end of August.
That's gonna be a really good fight.
Yeah, that's was the best boxing matchup on the card, like out there, like
If them dudes boxed McGregor, they would destroy him. Like they would really, I think,
Yeah.
seriously hurt him. But that goes the other way too. If them dudes go into the octagon, McGregor's gonna light them up.
If
so.
you can use more than hands, he's coming at you, dude.
Yeah, right. So
Is this the only way these two sports like can survive now? By
Yeah.
doing like a mismatch freak show, not a
Kinda
freak
seems
show, but
like
a
it,
mismatch
right?
sideshow kind of thing.
yeah,
I think the UFC could survive a little more than boxing could.
I think
I
boxing
would
can
have
survive
thought
a little
that
bit
in
more.
2008 and 9, but now it's like I don't know,
Like,
maybe it's just because I
every
don't
time-
watch every fight, but it's like,
Yeah.
Every
The
time they
UFC
get
sold
someone
out.
that's good,
Yeah.
like something fucks up with them. Like they do drugs or they get beat or like it just like their superstar just is got this quick expiration date.
George
That's just
St. Pierre
not,
retired, like that
You
kind of
know?
stuff. Like
And we got to stop having these ridiculous moral lines where we'll watch two men beat each other's face in and break each other's arm, but then get mad at him because he sniffs some coke or does some weed.
yeah, I mean honestly,
Like, all
that's-
right, like, come on.
That is one of the most ridiculous things in the world.
like I know like I stopped watching because I can get like a DVD and it's got all the knockouts all on one 90-minute thriller, and I'm not trying to sit there and pay $100 to maybe see it. You know what I mean? That's like some because it's either a really good fight or it's like dudes are hugging and sweating on each other the whole time.
yeah,
Man, I went to
I'm
Rap's
out,
house
I'm
one
out.
day, and he almost showed me someone die. Like, he had some guy's thigh pressed up against his leg and got, like, just squeezed his forehead to the point
Yeah,
where,
like,
like, he almost died.
Well,
But I'm
can't
gonna yell
squeeze-
at him.
Can't
remember
squeeze your
was
head
it
and neck
last
like that,
year?
man.
The dude who got his head caved in?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like,
yeah,
but
with that knee. And then
Looked like he got hit with a golf ball.
Oh,
right in
that
the
was
middle
one
of
of
his
the worst
forehead,
pictures I
dude.
ever saw.
Here, like open my beer with your forehead, dude. Like, come on, like I'm out.
if that guy wants to go do some lines afterwards, I'm okay with it.
Lines?
Like, your head's
You're
not
doing
caved,
fucking-
You're good.
You're doing fucking cones in there, man. Like this dude's got a fucking line. You're doing a damn bowl's worth. Dude, eat your cereal out of that shit. Like
He can do what he wants.
Studs belly button up on your forehead.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Rich, go ahead and give us your corner, man.
Oh, my corner is something near and dear to my heart and to Yuri McCoy's heart, and Kev would like it too. I'd like to shout out Trilogy for winning the Big Three championship and Finals MVP Rashad McCants, who hit the game-winning shot.
No way. I didn't even
Did he
watch
really?
it.
Yes,
I didn't ever see it either.
it was tied
That's
at
classic.
46.
Take that.
It was tied at 46. He got fouled on the three-pointer, and in that league, you have to take a three to get all three. So he
Yeah.
swished the three-pointer. They gave him the ball. They gave him the ball about from the 15-foot mark on like the elbow. He took two dribbles, turned around, splash,
Dribble, dribble,
championship.
splash.
Yo, Rich, I watched that shit the first week, and then the whole like it not being live really turned me off to it, and I didn't keep following it. But I remember in week one, he was a problem, and
Yo.
all season long, he seemed to tend to be a problem, and it only makes sense for these two
Because his
that are on
ass
the
is
show.
10 years younger than everybody else in the league.
Rashard Lewis was the league MVP, and McCants was the finals MVP. And after he hit the shot, he threw his jersey off and ran around and let every single person know
He's
that
the
he was the man and hit the shot.
Man.
So
And McCoy wants to say he's the man so bad.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
does. Yeah, I can tell he does. He
man.
does. He
I
does.
said nothing.
Yeah, you ain't saying nothing says volumes.
So he's still not going to play in the NBA though.
So
you're the legend of the Big Three.
Is that what,
Like,
is that what he's going to do? Just
It's not a
get
bad second
killing it
place.
every year?
Yo, I'll
took
roll
that
on
jersey
this.
off so quick and let everyone
Of
know.
course he did.
Yo, he's got more street credit than most NBA players. But I'm the MVP of the Big Three finals. Like he could chill on the block and be okay.
It was so funny. He just called for the ball, got it on the wing, and I was like, because like I watched the highlights because it said he was the MVP, and I didn't know that happened though. Got fouled on the three, swished the three from the top.
Too
of the
good to
key,
be
next
true,
play,
man.
Dribble, bang.
And it only
So
happened
Trilogy
because
won. I didn't see he did that though.
It only happened because we do this podcast, and you two
Oh,
are
yeah.
avid haters of him, and you can't be. Just like Rich can't ditch the Cowboys, you can't ditch Rashad McCants.
Oh, no, bullshit. Bullshit. That
No.
dude is not my boy. No,
Oh, he is.
Qualifiers now.
Dude, everybody
He is
from
the
everybody
exception.
from
He
Psycho
has been-
T.
He has been exiled from this campus. He has no history with UNC. He is not my boy.
No, that's like saying Reggie Bush's touchdowns don't count.
We're not gonna talk about that, Rich.
Okay.
He's UNC. Just like
No.
Reggie Bush's touchdowns count. McCants is UNC. It happened.
Exactly.
Except that he's not
Exactly.
allowed on our campus.
Well, that's because you people need to grow up.
You're one step from not
He
being
needs to
allowed
grow
on that
up. He was the one
campus.
who was
Yeah.
making shit up.
Word, he's the one snitching. He needs to grow up, man.
Yeah,
But the problem is
Straub's.
he was snitching on shit that wasn't even true. Like, he made things up to try and get us in trouble and make money off of it.
Straub, you're one
treat
March
your
Madness
friends
shot away from not being allowed on UNC campus either. So it's quiet.
Who isn't allowed to be?
I said you're one March Madness shot away from not being allowed on UNC's
They
campus.
will
For-
never tell me I can't come on this campus.
Oh, they might let someone
No, they
beat you
won't.
there. Let another
They
game
won't.
winner. Let another
Oh,
game
maybe
winner
start
go down that
snitching.
throat.
Stop
Let-
telling the secrets. And
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Coaches know I'm not going to tell them what I see. We're all
You remember-
good. Go
remember
ahead
that-
and win, boys.
Remember that Nova experience? Let Duke hit something like that. UNC
Oh my God,
won. UNC.
No, I'm telling you right now, if Duke and North Carolina played in a national championship game, oh my God, they better bring the National Guard down here. Like,
Kev,
there would be some
About
shit
to-
that went on.
About to tell you, you can't step foot on UNC's campus, aka Straub, aka McCants.
Nope.
listen. I would give up sports for the rest of my life if that Villanova shot could have been the Duke shot.
Oh man.
Don't you wish that evil upon me.
Nah,
Right?
and you know who's shooting it, Rich? You know who's shooting it?
Who?
Grayson Allen.
Yes.
No, that's
Yes, it would bother you.
no, there's worse Dukies that would have shoot that ball that would bother me more than Grayson Allen.
Well, guess what? That could still
Yeah,
that
like
could still
100%
happen
JJ
yet.
Redick, come on.
Nah, Grayson could still happen. The dream is still alive.
The dude, Derek's boy Justin, that was at the barbecue, was a Duke fan, and he has a Duke tattoo on his chest.
Oh, he's a cool guy.
And he said he loves JJ Redick. I was like, you need to go hang out with Rep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give him Joe Rapp's number.
Yeah.
BFFs forever.
I would give up a lot for that shot to be a Duke shot. Like, I'm thinking of all the things I would give up.
You realize that's like the worst possible thing that could happen in sports, right?
Yep.
To you.
I see where we're at, man.
Right,
Thought
I
we
see,
was
I
cool,
see,
man.
I see what level
where
of
we at.
friendship we're at. You want the
Alright.
worst possible thing that could happen to
Yo.
us.
That
In
shit would be
sports, yeah.
hilarious.
All right.
In life, I hope you guys are millionaires, but in sports, I hope you suffer. That's what friends are for.
There's nothing. I don't think there's anything that you guys could flip on me that would upset me more than that would upset you guys.
Absolutely not. Ever. Like, there's nothing
No.
that ever could happen. I
Because
don't think you have
the
the
only
hatred
thing
for
that
Duke
could-
that I have for anything.
The only thing I love like that, like really legitimately, is the Jets, and I've seen it all already. So bring it on.
Yo, if that was Grayson Allen who came across half court and just switched it, oh my God.
I've seen the Yanks drop 4 in a row in the
I wouldn't have
ALCS to
TV right
Boston.
now, I'll tell you that.
I've seen. But
Something would have been broke.
Straub wouldn't.
Absolutely. So,
Whatever was in grabbing distance would have been broke immediately.
That's like
Straub would be in
whoever,
jail.
whatever.
I'm swinging on something.
that's like when Duke played Butler.
Butler,
Gordon Hayward
yeah.
let that one fly, and I was with Rap,
Yo.
and he balled up and threw it and stopped at the TV when it bounced off the back rim. And I was like, oh my God.
Son, if that would have went in, you would have just had to walk out.
No, Rich needs to sit there and watch all that.
Nah, you
go
can't
down.
be with someone like that, dude. You better get the
No.
hell out of there. You're not staying.
word.
Like, who else was
Go.
with you, Rich? Were you alone? No, you're out. Get the fuck. Better be by the door when that shot goes
Get
out.
out. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up with my corner. It's not really a topic. Hurricane going on down in Houston. I have a brother down there, so everybody down in Houston, stay safe, stay dry. If you're not dry, try and get somewhere high ground, get some help. If you know anybody down in that area, offer to help them out. There's a lot of people going through some shit, but you know, life is what life is. It will go on. Just stay as safe as you guys can. Everybody,
Text 9099 to donate $10 to the people of Houston.
Yep.
There you
Be
go.
safe out there. Help people out.
There you go. Everybody, we
Unless they're one of those
appreciate
fools
you.
with the KKK flags.
Yeah, if you're one of those, you could just drown. That's fine. Go
Yeah.
go swimming. See if you could cross it.
Have fun, fools.
Appreciate everybody listening. We're out.
Yeah.
Peace.